offensively, defensively, special teams wise, I thought our guys, we found a way. And as far as, offensively, of course, there's things that we can get better at. You see some of the things that happen on the field. You wonder why they happen. The bigger deal is that just sticking to the run game and figuring it out, especially down there in the fourth quarter, not getting frustrated. Just thought that, Hank, Ben, Coach, all parties involved right there, just sticking to it, because sometimes you can start to, chase points. You can start to do things that naturally you would do, and probably we would have even been a lot different with our talent last year, and just can't say enough about the players just sticking with it. And we got to continue to move forward, and there's things that we got to clean up. Sure, we'll do that, and back at work, but good to be back home with a win, definitely.
There, that might have been one of the more frustrating halves of football for your ground game in the first half there. Come out, 12-yard carry right off the bat in the third quarter, start finding some life on the edges. How important, I guess, is the mentality, not just for the offense to stick to it, but for your running backs to keep at it and find those lanes?
So it's easy. It's a lot easier for the backs to stick to it and do what we ask them to do, because we have a little cheat code on the sideline. The pictures, they provide the information where we're one block away, or we're one hole away, or, we're just a safety block away from it being a really big play. So you can get instant, feedback to them. A lot of people that's watching it outside of us can't see how small of a detail we missed to get this done or get that done. So it was easy for them to see where we were. And then the whole part of them adjusting and allowing us as an offensive staff to adjust a little bit right there, and our O-line adjusting to be able to get it done. But the pictures really, really help you. If you had to play a game, without the pictures and without the ability to show exactly what was happening, whether it was in the C gap, the B gap, whether our double team was working appropriately, or, our blocks were hitting where they were, or our tracks were exactly where they were, we would have had a big play. So if you had to watch it without that and play without that, it can become very frustrating. But it's always, we got a next play mentality here. And this team is built just a little bit different with grit and toughness. I thought when I came back to the sideline after a turnover that we had that was later, that there was going to be this, just this down, kind of a melancholy looking guy's face, but they were just watching the screen to see when we were going to get to go back, because our defense was playing so well. So it was more about that. They just kind of shifted their focus to the defense. And sticking to it, it is also helpful to stick to it, easy to stick to it, I should say, when you look out there at your defense and they get a turnover right after something, so you got that momentum to take you back out on the field. So just a great job of playing together as a team.
Jameer and his ability to set up blocks. I'm wondering if you can just talk about the art, what sort of goes through his head, how he's doing that.
Yeah, he's getting better. Starting with setting up blocks on the interior. Now we're starting to see him take dirty runs, 4 yards, minus those lost yardage plays that he had that we'll correct out there on the perimeter, that we can't do that to our guys. But now we're starting to see him make the correct hard reads that are ugly, that are 4 yard gains that nobody really likes, but everybody respects. But his ability to set up blocks, it goes all the way back to our process of evaluating him coming out. We were talking about him being one of the best space players in the world coming out, or the best space player in the draft coming out, I should say. And one of the reasons is it's not just that he's in space and make people miss. He uses the people around him really well. And it doesn't hurt that you're setting up a block on a 340-pound guy that's 6'5", that can dunk the basketball any kind of way, that can catch the ball, that can do it all. So I think I could set up a couple of blocks for Panay. Just a little wiggle, and I think I could get 4 yards after that. But he's getting very good at that. He's feeling the defense. The game is, everybody says the game slows down. No, the game is not slowing down. If anything, it's speeding up, right? And he's adjusting to the speed of which is happening. So.
When you're trying to set up a block, what is the secret to that, right? Are you reading the defense? I mean, take us in his head a little bit, obviously.
Yeah, I will, no doubt. So, the biggest deal is he is reading the first level, right? So he's in his reading the first level. Second level, when it comes to the second level, he is counting on people to get to where, they're supposed to be, they have to be. It's purely trust. And then on the third level, he's feeling that, right? So he's feeling the flow of the defense. If he feels a guy over the top, flowing hard to the boundary, then he is going to do whatever he can to make sure that he's forcing them to that boundary and making sure that his block in front of him understands what he's doing. doing. A lot of practice goes into that on the practice field. And then flow opposite, of course, he could maybe stab, what we call a stab step, where you want to keep them inside. If they are where you want them to be, then he can stab them, keep them in there, and then set the block up even more. So it has a lot to do with feel on the third level, and that, unfortunately, is not something that you can just drill into a guy. It is definitely a talent that is, they have, and then you can develop it, but they have to have the talent. But it's more about the flow of the third level. How's the flats being defended? Are they being defended inside out, outside in? Where's the safety coming from? Is it a half-field safety? Is it a single high safety? And being able to quickly digest this as I take the ball, because that's where the field is coming from. Yep.
Use David as your opener. It seemed like Jameer got a little bit more run in the first quarter last week. Was that just simply a tendency breaker, or did you see something that you were trying to explain?
No, not necessarily. Sometimes, there's just things that happen inside of a game. Maybe from a game plan standpoint, we wanted something for one guy and something for another, and then just trying to exploit, the defense. But when we got David, we kind of figured a couple of things out as we moved on, and then we got David going there in the second half, and it didn't show up the way that people thought that it was going to show up, and it was a bit of a tendency breaker to hit him on a big-time screen right there, and I thought that was a really, really critical play for us to get us going in that situation, and then to bring Ja back. So it's just week to week, as you guys can see. I feel like I say that a lot, but there are certain times and certain feels for defenses and calls that just show up different. We try to get them both going. I think right now I might be close, I might be off on this, but their carries for the year probably are right neck and neck with carries. So it just kind of happens. It just kind of happens that way from time to time. But we're really, really happy that one was able to 1 week help us in the run game, the other the passing game, and then it flip-flops. So it is naturally killing tendencies that we may be developing.
When a little bit there with the talk of Montgomery's screen. Early in the season, we just talked about getting the backs unlocked in the passing game. There was a lot of meat left on the bone, maybe in 2023. I think they're about 90% of their yardage total from last year, and those two screens really helped. But how have you seen that kind of develop as this season's gone on, and what more is there left to tap into there?
Yeah, well, one of the things too is that our receivers are flying off the ball. We're really utilizing the speed of our receivers, and one of the reasons why the passing game has gotten better for the backs is some of those checkdowns that we're getting. You guys have seen some major checkdowns that have turned into big plays, also screens. That's directly connected to our receivers. If they don't come off the ball flying 15 yards of just pure burst, we can't create the level between the first level and the third level. So now that we've gotten a year deeper into the offense, L is even coaching it even tighter. There's some things that are happening in the offense that are allowing us and allowing Jared to get cleaner looks at checkdowns, at screens. And then, it's directly connected to, too, we've worked hard on making people miss at every skill position. Like, we've really talked about run after catch and trying to create as much of that as we can. We always thought Saint did a great job of doing that, but now collectively we're really working on trying to create better run after catch.
When Ben is calling plays, is he you guys leave him alone, he's doing his thing, or is there a lot of input coming from the players to you, to him?
Yeah, there's always a lot of conversation, like always a lot, but there's also times when there is just dead silence. And you have to understand that, a lot of our guys, a lot of our, coaches have been around either play calling really closely or have play called or been in situations to understand that you got to be able to be quiet, right? And then there's times where you need to have a lot of conversations between series, early between series. The conversations needs to be happening between the players and the position coaches, the players and the coordinators. And then, right briefly after that, the communication happens between the coaches and the coaches. And then clearly there needs to be a gap in time before we enter the field again so that Ben can organize, and he does a great job of that. But also during the drive, he'll get the information that he needs to, whether it be from the box or from us on the field or from our guys as they bring us information back. But there does need to be a level of just pure quiet on the headset and calm on the headset.
Is everything from what they're seeing to how they're feeling to everything?
No, well, I think it's more about what we're seeing, Like, there's a lot of things that we see from the sideline that they can't see, but there's also things that are happening on the field that, as much as we would like to be able to see it from the box and from the sideline, sometimes it's hard to do.
Quick evaluation of Bucky's special teams tackle.
It's got me coughing. All right. I always tell our guys, I started the week off by, showing him love. We always we watch those special teams plays just to try to generate some fun. But he went viral, so we didn't have to, right? You tackle. We talk about that. Believe it or not, we like going viral, okay? Especially in the room on special teams, because it's the time where they can see our room just in another light, not just carrying the football, not just but being out there tackling, the physicality showing up, but to tackle two guys. That's why we brought him here. So we continue to see him get better. Looking forward to seeing him get a lot better.
Thanks, guys. What do you think Jameson Williams' first game back? Obviously some third down conversions, and then hangs on the ball despite getting folded up like an accordion there at the end there.
Yeah, so, made some good catches, and that's what you're supposed to do. No, but he made some good catches, did some good things coming back. He was excited to be back, and he showed that in his play, and even throughout the week, and even after the game, just him being a good old J-Mo. So he made the plays that need to be made. It was good. It's good to have him back.
There was a lot of expectations on him coming to the season, and in many ways he's delivered on those, maybe even exceeded some of those. Where are you most proud of his growth on the field?
I think a lot of it is just knowing the offense and the why we do what we do. A lot of times he would just be running the route. Now he understands more of the concepts, and that's, again, some of that stuff takes time. And not that he didn't know, but now he just knows it, like, even right out the bat. Like, I get ready to ask him a question, he spits it out before he spits the answer out before I even finish the question. So just the understanding the offense and being where you got to be when you're supposed to be there. So he's been on that more so than what he had been in the past. And that's just a test to him just, studying and being ready. And like I said, understanding the game plans that we put in week after week.
What gets the biggest, applause, I guess, from players? Like a big block, a big catch, or when, J-Mo takes a hit like that and secures the ball.
I can't put it on one thing, but for me in my room, like, the blocking is a big deal. Because that's what I come from, that's what I know, that's what Dan knows and understands. Like, and you're expected to make the big play. So I think for us, it just comes down to doing what's expected of you consistently. The catching, the blocking, the attention to detail in terms of assignment, being where you're supposed to be. So I can't put it on one thing, but if I had to, it'd just be, being consistent and doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. So that's what it comes down to.
As a former player and position coach, how did you address the off-the-field stuff with Jameson, knowing that so many eyes are on him, watching what he's doing off the field and on the field?
Well, you have conversations about it. Things happen, and then you move on. Like, you don't dwell on it. And he handled it well, and he was back and did a great job coming back. So we've moved on, and we'll keep rolling from there.
If you look at the under the hood metrics, he's being efficient with the targets he's receiving, maybe at a higher clip than at any point in his career. But the counting stats are down, and they're down significantly right now. He's not even on pace for 1,000 yards, which is strange for him given the constant incline. How is he, I guess, processing right now the way the offense has kind of shifted a little bit more ground heavy attack this season?
Give me the ball. No. Whichever receiver does. But at the end of the day, he's a team guy, man. And that's what we love about him. I think he had a couple of games where he hadn't got a target until the second quarter or mid-second quarter, something like that. And that's going to happen. And he understands that. And a lot of it has to do with, what we have on our offense. We had some weapons on our offense. And obviously he's one of them. But at the end of the day, it's about being a team player. And he understands that. He shows that. Because when he's not getting the ball, he's doing the other stuff that needs to be done. The alignment assignment, the blocking that I just talked about a little bit ago. And he leads not only the room, but he leads the team in those type deals in terms of, like I said, being where he's supposed to be there, the blocking, and just leading by example more than instead of speaking it, but actually putting it into action. So love that kid. Love the hat. I'm glad he's in my room. I call him a kid. Love the adult, the player. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
Well, just to build on that, because a lot of guys say it could go funk if they don't get a target early. And we see last game, it's the end of the game, and he makes the two big catches for first downs. What does that say about sort of him and that ability to understand it's going to come to me eventually if I'm not getting it?
Yeah, and that's he expects to get it every play. So it doesn't for him. It doesn't matter. Like he's running the route thinking this ball is coming to me, and that's how you go about it. You know, whether the coverage is right or the coverage is not right. Like he goes about it in that manner, and when you do that, you expect that ball, and you're ready for it. So I think that's one of the biggest things for him. Like it's not, hey, I'm running my route based on the coverage, and I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to run faster. Nope, he's going to run the route that he's supposed to with the speed he's supposed to, regardless of the coverage. And when the coverage dictates that he gets the ball, he makes the play. So like you talk about, somebody mentioned about the efficiency. That's what it comes down to. You know, being ready and like expecting the ball every play. So when it does come, you're ready to make it. Yeah. Well, every receiver has. I mean, that's part of it. If you weren't, I probably have a problem with that. You know. And for me, I understand it. Like I've been in that boat. Like, man, I want the ball. You know, and you just deal with it. And in my mind, I'm and the inside, I'm laughing because I know what it's like. But at the end of the day, like again, the IN team doesn't exist. So for him, it's all right. Let me hone in and get ready, you know, for the next play, you know, and that's what happens. Really, all my guys, because all my guys have been there at some point.
You said you know what it's like. I was scrambling there to find you a couple seasons in Pittsburgh where you only attempted maybe 350 passes in a year. You know, how tough were those years as a player when, you know, the ground game is the focal point of your offense?
I mean, it's great when you're winning, and we're winning a lot. So it's and it's hard when you're not, but which was rare. But at the same time, like again, team players, you know what it's going to take to get to those. You know, you just got to be ready. You got to run the route, block, and just when it's time to make the plays, you got to make it because that's when it's really crucial. When the ball doesn't go in there that much, and you do get an opportunity, like you got to take full advantage of it.
I know it wasn't your decision, and I'm guessing you guys probably wanted him back, but how tough is it to lose a developmental guy like Isaiah Williams, and how much progress did you see before you guys had to let him go?
A whole lot of progress, and more so, we always talk about the detail of things. That's where the progress was made. We knew he was a good player. I mean, that's why we had him and was trying to hold on to him as much as we could. So when you lose him, it's tough. But that's the game. That's the business. You hate to say it like that, but that's what it is. And at the end of the day, we tried to get him back, and we knew that was going to be tough. So blessing to him. We talked the other day. I love the kid, and can help him in any way I can. But he grew when he was here, and that's what I want to see. The guys are growing, guys are getting better, and he certainly did that. So wish him well. We stay in contact. So I know he'll be good wherever he's at.